Alright, so we are back here on the Snowy Mountain. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Snowy Mountain. Oh yeah, and I discovered that these things are apparently precursor blockers. I don't know what that means. These little force field things that we've been turning off here and there. There are a lot of them. Oh man, and they're just gonna fling us off the ice. Kind of weird effect that they did on the ice here. It looks like sliding on water more than ice. I think it's supposed to be more of like a fog, but it looks like water. Anyways, we're here outside the fort. I think I said we were gonna go in the fort on the last episode, but we'll get to that. We'll get there soon. We're just gonna keep on working our way around this area and see what we can find. The fort's a pretty big location, so I don't think we're gonna lose sight of it. Oh no, where is it? Oh god. Oh nice. Gives our attack a little bit of range. So we can take out these dark eco boxes from a distance. That's nice. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, we ran out. I wasn't paying attention. It's okay though, we did it. God is with us. We still don't know if anime's with us. I'm sure we'll find out soon. Speaking of anime's never really been my thing. So, speaking of anime, I did enjoy anime when I was little. However, as I got older, I would watch some series as they came out, and I just found that the plots were, more often than not, extremely predictable. And I did still enjoy just kind of mindlessly watching through an anime here and there, but it got old very quickly. And the reason is just the lack of creativity by a lot of studios that make anime. And it kind of turned me off from the genre in general. The genre of anime. That's a very Western thing to say, actually. Anime is certainly not a singular genre, but many genres collected in the form of a medium. So I shouldn't say the genre of anime, but rather the medium of anime. And yeah, I mean, there are certainly many different types of anime out there. Many of which I did enjoy when I was little. I thought they were fresh and new and creative, and certainly a lot more grown up than the cartoons that I grew up with. Which made me want to watch them even more because, you know, what's every kid's wish other than to grow up faster for some reason? And that's what I was going through. So I would secretly, late at night, sometimes I would go downstairs where I had a CRT TV with my PlayStation 2 plugged in, and I would move the cable box or satellite box, whatever we had at the time. I would move it to that TV, and I would turn on Cartoon Network, which, as most people in the West know, Cartoon Network, after 8 p.m., I believe, became Adult Swim, and then they would play all sorts of cartoons. However, well, yeah, cartoons and other variety content. However, it was not quite child-friendly. And so, sorry, I'm just trying to get some green eco here so that we can survive whatever's coming next. I forget what's in the fort, but it's a fort, so, you know. Anyways, so Adult Swim had everything that a young kid that... great. Everything that a young kid who wants to grow up wanted to watch. And yeah, so I did. And I found a show which many people who grew up with anime at that time know, Inuyasha. And it was strange, because all my life I thought that cartoons could only be for kids. So certainly this cartoon, as I thought of it at the time, was a kids show. So the first episode that I saw was actually episode 39. And as many people who have seen that show know, episode 39, I think it's episode 39, it's the one where Inuyasha goes to Naraku's castle, and it's after Koga's wolf tribe goes and tries to storm the castle. It doesn't quite go the way that they planned, and all of them are massacred. And instead of cleaning up the bodies and making it seem like nothing ever happened, instead they reanimate the bodies and string them around. Or no, not reanimate, sorry. They just kind of string them out around like a bunch of puppets, and they kind of like cover Inuyasha with them, and then they cut open their wounds and their blood gets all over Inuyasha. As a kid, seeing this, I was like, oh my god, like my parents can never see that I saw this. There's so much death, so much blood, and I was kind of scared too. I was like, this feels taboo. I feel like I should have never seen something like that. But then I wanted to see how it got to that point. So I started watching more and more and more and more, and soon this show became my favorite show. And I didn't quite know how to talk about it with my friends because, man, the camera got stuck on something there. That was kind of messed up. But anyways, I didn't know how to talk to my friends about this show without showing them it. So I did, and then it became kind of like a little thing. Like, we started watching more and more anime together. Not together really, but like watching and talking about it together. Cartoon Network was a pretty good source for those kind of shows. In the daytime, well, towards the evening, they had Toonami, which had Dragon Ball, some other shows that I'm blanking on right now. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I feel like I should remember it. But anyways, Cartoon Network was pretty much the source of the shows that I watched that were anime. That was all that I knew of anime. As a result, I was pretty much exposed to actually one genre of anime, which was shoujo anime. No, right? Shonen. Sorry. Shoujo is this is actually what it is. Shoujo is anime that's designed for a young girl audience, and shonen is anime designed for a young boy audience. And pretty much all of my exposure to anime was shonen. However, that particular genre of anime tends to be very simple in its design. There's a hero, there's a big bad enemy that they're trying to conquer, And, you know, kind of like Marvel. They try to beat it, they can't beat it, they learn they have to become stronger, they become stronger, they fight. Turned Australian there for a second, they fight it, and they either conquer it, or they realize they still need to become stronger, and then season 2 happens, or they conquer it and they find out that there's an even bigger enemy, and then season 2 happens, and it just kind of keeps on going like that. And yeah, I mean, it works for a younger audience, I'm sure. And no criticism to the studios that are making shows that, oh my god, my platforming skill suffers when I'm trying to talk at the same time as I'm gaming. Okay, we got it. So anyways, absolutely minimal criticism of the studios that are benefiting from that kind of plan to make more and more shonen anime. However, the scope of audience that you can appeal to with that kind of thing is, in my opinion, very limited. And I grew out of it very quickly, especially once I started seeing the pattern, which I pretty much just described. Protagonist, big problem, enemy, not strong enough to beat it the first time, gets stronger, beats it the second time, or, you know, what have you. The formula. And, it works for a lot of studios. But you can't expect your audience to stay young forever. You can't expect your audience to stay young and naive forever. A lot of times... A lot of times, the big bad enemy that people face in real life cannot be overcome by just training it out. Sometimes you gotta shift your focus entirely and take on a new enemy. Because there are other ways to win. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I need that. I need that. Can I, like, not die, though? Oh, man, that would be so nice. Oh, man, they just keep on coming down? Okay, okay. We got it. Wow. We have survived quite a lot so far. I'm surprised, honestly. Alright, this guy. Don't even give him a chance. Get out of here. Okay, anyways. Yeah. So, me personally, I've ran into a lot of issues in my life that, quote-unquote, training more did not solve. And, I mean, I know that the perspective of shonen anime is quite naive. There are still 2 that we're missing. I know one of them is the Yellow Eco vent, but I don't remember where it is. Oh, jeez. Can you, like, not, dude? Oh my god. Like, just let me live. Let me live, man. I didn't do anything to you. But yeah. So, that's my experience with anime. That's why I got bored of anime. And... that's why I'm not really keen on getting back into it. However, I will acknowledge that there are some real works of art out there. Like, so something that I did that's probably going to be a little bit unexpected to hear now, after all of this talk about how I gave up on anime in my adult life. Not wanting to get back into it, is that I actually took a class about anime in college. I needed to fill my unit count and, you know, I don't know if colleges are still going to have this system by the time that I'm talking about this, or if they even still do. But for the longest time, it was required that when you take a class, that you also have to meet a certain minimum count of units per semester. And at the end of your college experience, you have to have had a certain number of courses in different categories. One of those categories is culture. And you can meet those requirements in a number of ways. I met the majority of my required culture class requirements by taking language classes. And because of that, I'm fluent in French. Thank you very much. But there's also, like, miscellaneous culture classes that you can take. And, one of those classes was actually a class about anime. And it was taught by a professor who was trying to reinvigorate the interest in taking Japanese as a language. Because apparently Japanese isn't that popular of a language to be taken in college. And neither is French, for that matter. Or, well, a lot of languages. Because it's no secret, Mandarin, Chinese, and Spanish are going to be arguably the most beneficial to anybody who is looking to start a business or do any kind of business relations. It's just powerful to know because of all the connections that it can potentially make in the business sector. And because of that, languages like French, which once French was a very powerful language in the business sector, but no longer, and with the rise of Korean culture becoming more and more popular, it's kind of leaving Japanese by the wayside. And so it's no surprise, to me at least, that departments like in colleges that emphasize Japanese culture, you know, in the end, they need money to function. And if they're not making any money in the form of students taking their classes, then they're not really gonna do anything. They're not gonna grow, they're not gonna be able to survive in the college. And so this professor started a class that was meant to attract more attention to people who want to learn how to speak Japanese. Or at least to interest people more in the idea of taking those classes in general. And so she started a class that was geared towards analyzing and breaking down anime. And I took that class.
Oh, all right already. Here's a power cell for those orbs of yours.
Nice. And now we got 4 more power cells. And with that, we pretty much cleaned up the crater of power cells. There's just one more that we can get. Might as well, right? Am I missing any from Spider Cave? Nope. Wow, I got all of them in this area so far, except one, and I know exactly how to get it. But it's gonna take a little while, so maybe not. Why not? Okay, never mind. I changed my mind again. So anyways, I took the class, and surprisingly to me, it was an upper division cultural class. Maybe because they expected that you would know some of the language before you took the class. And it wasn't a requirement, it wasn't a prerequisite, but it was a 300 level class, so a third year level class. And it was a really interesting class. This was in the midst of my falling off of anime. I didn't think it was enjoyable anymore. I thought the plots were superficial and not particularly interesting. And then I learned that there's a whole nother layer to anime that I was completely oblivious to, and probably a lot of other people don't know about either. And that is that anime is actually very culturally significant in general. It doesn't apply to every anime. Of course, there are some out there that are clearly just a studio trying to make some money, and I'm not talking about those. I'm not even looking at those when I'm talking about this. What I'm talking about are, like, the ones that are looking at a very serious issue in Japanese culture or in society and turning it into a creative work, into something that's fun to look at, and still makes it a big deal, but in less of a way that's socially disruptive, I should say. So it's the type of anime that we have something like that in the West. It's called protest. There's a social stigma that surrounds talking about issues, and sometimes the issues themselves are extremely disruptive to society. But instead of talking about it and trying to make change, in a lot of cases, a lot of times people turn a blind eye, and it happens everywhere. If an issue doesn't particularly strike a resonating feel with you, you're more likely to pass off the issue and not really try to do anything about it. Alright, we got it. Nice. That took so many attempts. I just wanted to skip until this point because, oh my god, I was getting a little bit frustrated. But with the power of God and anime on our side, we did it. Anyways, so there's a common issue in Japanese society where issues are not talked about. Instead, they are kind of pushed to the side because it would be too disruptive to make a big deal about them. And those issues remain, but that doesn't mean that people are blind to them. Just because nobody talks about an issue doesn't mean it's not being seen. And so in a lot of cases, anime studios have worked to bring those issues to the forefront of people's minds by showing people that, yeah, this is an issue. Yeah, we know about it. Yeah, everybody else seems to know about it too. Especially when an anime becomes very popular. It becomes kind of a resonating feeling among the people watching it. Let's see what Kira has to say.
All right. With these additional power cells, I should be able to supply the heat shield with enough power to stand up to this lava. But the shield still has a limit. It will now withstand temperatures up to 800 degrees, but no more. So keep an eye on your gauge. I don't want to think about what those temperatures would do to your zoomer if the shield gives out.
Yeah, the heat.
What? The Zoomer? Hey, what about us? Don't you think we could look for a safer route to go, Citadel?
Look, I've released more cooling balloons into the tube, so you can use them to keep the temperature down. And don't forget to activate the teleport gate in the Yellow Sage's lab. We're counting on you.
Alright, so let's go activate the teleporter in Yellow Sage's lab. But anyways, anime is kind of like a medium for discussing issues that have arisen in Japanese society. And before I took that class, I didn't really know to think about it that way. And after that, I started to watch anime a little bit more critically. And as I started to look at anime more critically, I learned that there's a lot more to it than you get at face value. It became suddenly much more interesting. And I mean, there are still a lot of different types of anime that are not that interesting. Like, I'm talking specifically about the shonen animes. I'm still not that interested in those. Let's get some of these cooling balloons. Man, where are we? Well, anyways. So yeah, there's a lot going on in anime, after all. And there are still a lot of series that are developed with money in mind, kind of following a formula when it comes to the story, and not really providing much in terms of fulfillment of the need for a complex story that people can more or less relate to or learn from, or just something new, you know? Everybody loves a new experience. But yeah, that class taught me to see anime a little bit differently. And then after that, I discovered for myself a couple of new anime that previously I had thought weren't even something that could exist. One of them was Kids on the Slope, which is an anime about a high schooler dealing with high school issues, and then he discovers jazz and the power of jazz, which also I took a jazz class in college, and that was, oh my god, I learned so much. But also, other works of Shinichiro Watanabe, such as Terror in Resonance, one of my favorite animes. I rewatched Cowboy Bebop as an adult because it's amazing. Until the movie. After the movie, it gets kind of confusing and weird. And yeah, among other things. Oh, I guess this is Yellow Stage's hut, I guess? Kind of weird.
Hey! Where's old Short, Green, and Wrinkly?
This is terrible. Father is missing. I think Gall and Maya may have kidnapped him as well.
Relax, sweetheart. I got everything under control.
Under control? Lurker armies continue to grow across the land. The sages have been kidnapped. Gall and Maya have gathered enough eco to complete their terrible plan, and to stop them, you're going to have to fight your way through their citadel.
Yeah. That about sums it up.
You've got to rescue my father before it's too late. And Jack, be careful.
Yeah, we will be.
Alright, so she finally cares about something other than just technology. There's some character development, I guess. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, learned a lot about anime thanks to that class. And don't hate it, really. I
It's
don't.
about time you two decided to show up.
Nice to see you, too. Do they have you mopping the floors now?
There's no time for jokes, Daxter. Gall and Maya kidnapped us to sap our energies to power their abominable machine. It appears they have combined the functional remains of a precursor robot with scavenged artifacts from across the land. Then they added a few diabolical additions of their own. Creating the one thing capable of opening the dark eco silos. If you can free the four of us, we can use our combined powers to break the force shield surrounding the robot before they use it to destroy the world.
Alright, well, that looks a little bit familiar. That might be the one that we found underground. They've extracted it for their own use. Interesting. Alright, well, anyways, we're going to finish that episode up here. And we'll explore Gall and Maya's Citadel on the next episode. We're nearing the end of the game. It may just be a 7-episode series at this point. We don't have that much to do here. Just gotta free the sages, get scout flies, probably, and beat the last boss. So yeah, I don't know. Next episode might just be the finale. And I don't know if you noticed, but we didn't die once this episode. And you know what that means? God and anime. They're with us. Finally. Together, we can do anything. Well, we'll see about that. Anyways, have a great day. We'll see you in the next episode. And we'll, yeah, probably finish up this series real soon. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.